Silver investors hear all the time about this looming silver shortage, but is it for real? We have some new data today that may just indicate to us it is really, really for real. And when we talk about what's happening with this one major component of the supply side of silver, it becomes real clear that this current price around what, $24 isn't realistic. We need silver prices, do you think, like around $50, $65 per ounce minimum, just to be able to make it economic to supply the world with all the silver that's needed. We need at least $50, $60 silver. This is absolutely crazy what is going on. So we're going to talk about this one new component that is changing on the supply side of silver. And when you hear about it, like, again, I think it's going to make the picture a little more clear for us, but the price is what the price is. But it's not always a straight ride up, up, up. I know I probably take it harder than most people. I hate down days in the precious metals markets, but you got to remember what you own, whether you're holding physical silver, physical gold, or the precious metal mining stocks, you are holding on to real value. And the mining stocks in particular will take us on a wild, wild ride. Are we indeed facing a silver shortage that could propel the price of silver significantly higher in the coming years? What's going on in Mexico? Guys, Mexico is the world's biggest producer of silver. If you want silver, you go to Mexico. The Spanish went there, right? Mexico is the silver capital of the world's number one producer of silver. But, and this comes from some great research from our friends at the Silver Industry Substack. John Little, a friend of Ron's Basement, that's his Substack. This comes from Silver Star Academy. As always, if you want to get a daily update on what's going on, I have no economic interest. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just telling you, if you want to get something delivered to your inbox every day that has to do with silver, he does in writing what I do in video format, puts out something every single day. Go to the Silver Industry at Substack.com. But let's read this, what he had to say about Mexico. Silver shortage confirmed. Mexico's silver supply has dropped off a cliff. At this pace, Mexico could be out of silver around the year 2026. What? We need to dig in and see what's going on here. Tavi Costa, he's the brain in Brazil, one of the smartest analysts in the precious metal sector. Big investment manager, super smart guy. Let me give you a little quote that he put out. Mexico's silver production, and he's in Brazil, so he knows what's going on in Latin America. Again, Mexico is the biggest producer of silver in the world, guys. The world is demanding more and more silver, and Mexico's silver production apparently is decreasing, and we're going to get into the specifics here. When demand goes up and supply goes down, the only thing that fixes that is higher prices, period. Mother Nature rules, okay? The market rules. Eventually, the manipulation by the COMEX and the LBMA can only go on for so much longer. This is Tavi Costa. Mexico's silver production is now declining double digits annually for the first time in almost a decade. Historical trends indicate that substantial contractions in new mine supply of silver have presented excellent opportunities to invest in the metal. That means the price usually goes up when production goes down. More importantly, consider that silver is currently at one of its most undervalued levels in history. So all this is going on, right? This decrease in supply, increase in demand, and the extra bonus kicker, the cherry on top, is the fact that silver right now is at its most undervalued level in history, did that say? currently at one of its most undervalued levels in history. I was correct. Fact check. Especially compared to gold. Thank you, Tavi. Yes, we know that. It takes like 84 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. Imagine 4 tubes of American Silver Eagles and then 4 more American Silver. Would you trade? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that I would right now, but I don't know. To me, 4 American Silver Eagles seem almost equal to 1 ounce of gold, but we're talking 4 tubes of American Silver Eagles with 20 coins in each tube for 1 ounce of gold? Are you kidding me? Am I sleeping? Is this real? Here's a chart. That you can get all this delivered to you if you sign up. It's free, by the way, what John does, John Little. That's a chart of Mexico silver production. We are over here. If I get my finger, we're over here. See, going down, down. Mexico is the world's #1 producer of silver. I've said that 6 times now. Labor activism is on the rise. People in Mexico, they shut these mines down. The Mexican miners, they're unionized. I mean, I can tell you example after example of America's gold and silver. Equinox had problems at their gold mine in Mexico. It just, trust me. The Mexicans are shutting the mines down, the labor, so that is real. Environmental activism. Yes, they come up with some very interesting environmental reasons to make it difficult on miners in Mexico. AMLO, I think it is, the current president. Oh, it's a mess, okay? Shifts in political regimes by the day. Supply and demand dynamics are rapidly shifting in favor of demand while supply is dwindling before our eyes. Above ground stockpiles of silver are disappearing. Mexico has always been the #1 producer of silver, but Mexico's silver production is down almost 25% in the last 2 years. That is a shocking drop off the cliff in silver production. We got more. Silver investors, if you are holding silver today, you are in great shape. Congratulations. Because the silver price is soon going to be $50 per ounce. Okay, don't make any investment decisions based upon that. That's just my conservative opinion. I think it could go much, 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 much higher than $50 per ounce. Silver is the most undervalued asset on the face of the earth. If you want to get your hands on some silver now, don't forget, channel sponsor, Pimbex, Pimbex, Pimbex.com, online bullion dealer. You want silver, you want gold, you want platinum. Do you want the best prices? Do you want to deal with a company you can trust? Go check out Pimbex. Do your own research. Just throw them in the mix. Next time you're looking to buy some bullion online, I think you'll find what I found. They check all the boxes, and they can help you with IRA conversions too. Silver is the critical mineral for net zero economies. This gets interesting, especially in hydrogen fuel cell, cars, trucks, vans, ships, barges, and ferries, especially in satellites, robotics, artificial intelligence, solar, and other renewables like wind power. There are over 10,000, write that down. 10,000 other industrial applications, things like military, aerospace, healthcare, electronics. Don't forget, silver is the most conductive metal in the world of electricity. Silver is also very thermally conductive. Silver is also the most reflective metal. There's nothing about silver that it's not the best at. The United Nations Climate Change Conference just met. That's called COP28. Okay, and they are all in on renewable energy that is silver intensive. They were talking about tripling the amount of green energy capacity in the world. I don't know for sure how that came out, but that's the same. Like COP28 is the same thing as COP 21 that were the Paris Accords that set all of this craziness. Wait till you see this chart that I have for you in a second. Let's talk solar. Oh, okay. Speak of the devil. For every gigawatt of solar, 1 gigawatt of solar, 500,000 ounces of silver are used. 1 gigawatt, equals 500,000 ounces of silver. I don't even know how many monster boxes that is. How many ounces are in a monster box? There's 500 ounces, maybe? That would be 1,000 monster boxes for each. Wow, 1 gigawatt of solar electricity, or solar panel generation. Okay, this is interesting. Just this one manufacturing facility in Houston, Texas, will use 1,500,000 ounces per year. 1,500,000 ounces per year. And just down the street from this plant is another plant using 1 million ounces. These are solar panel manufacturing plants located right here in the United States of America, down in Texas. I love Texas. Okay, here's the company. SAVORY Energy, India's largest solar photovoltaic manufacturer, announced it will establish its first U.S. manufacturing facility in Houston, Texas. The facility, located in Brookshire, will have the initial capacity of 3 gigawatt of solar modules annually by the end of next year. Did you hear that? 3 gigawatts of solar modules annually by the end of next year. Remember what our friend John just taught us. Each gigawatt uses 500,000 ounces of silver. 3 gigawatts equals 1.5 million ounces of silver. Not just one time, no, for every year. And guys, this is where it gets crazy. Sit down. I got a chart. Okay, I don't pull out charts unless they're crazy. You know the old cup and handle chart, which I'm not going to show you today. You know the wedgie chart, which I'm not going to show you today. I have a new chart. This comes from our friends at Bloomberg. Fortuna Silver Mines is a global intermediate gold and silver producer. Since 2005, Fortuna's best-in-class management has delivered impressive growth and profits. Fortuna's solid financial position and operational expertise allows for performance in any precious metals price cycle and provides a foundation from which to harvest great profits in more favorable metals markets. Investing in Fortuna is an investment in quality, long-term, sustainable production of in-demand precious and base metals. This is a chart that shows global PV installation. Who remembers what PV stands for? Not pervert or anything like that, dirty-minded folks. No, PV stands for photovoltaic, which is a fancy way of saying solar panels. This is a chart that shows since 2010 the number of solar panels that have been installed in the world. Are you ready? 2010, 2023. Do you see a trend? Did you fall out of your chair? Okay, that's real data from Bloomberg. And guys, the big part of this, sorry, I am too cheap to have a color printer. I have a black and white printer. This big part here is China. China is installing solar panels at a rate that is astounding, okay? We always say China's the country that's like, you know, the worst polluter in the world. Well, they're putting in a lot of solar panels. There's no doubt about that. This is going to continue going up. And for each one of these, there's silver in it. But as we move out over here, as we move into the future, not only are we going to see more solar panels, but we're also going to see more silver in each panel. We can't emphasize that enough. Back to Mexico. Another friend of the basement, Vince Lanci. What a great guy. Super legitimate. Not just a smart guy, but a great guy and a warrior for silver. We love Vince Lanci. Okay, I did an interview with him a couple weeks back. If you want to dig through my channel and find it, I would highly recommend it. We dissected what's going on in the world. But anyway, Vince Lanci says, Mexico, quote, Mexico is in the process of soft nationalization of its remaining silver as well. Soft nationalization, right? This has to do with the BRICS nations. And the BRICS nations are increasing increasingly restricting G7 access to their remaining resources. That's the big picture we talk about all the time. The world knows there's only so much silver. The BRICS nations and BRICS Plus, don't forget, we're going to have who? Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia joining BRICS here in a few days, on top of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're going to control a growing lion's share of the world's silver, the world's gold, the world's oil. I mean, guys, it's absolutely crazy. The situation in Mexico is particularly dire. As the world's leading silver producer, Mexico has seen an average annual output of 5,600 tons in the past decade. Unfortunately, its reserves, its resources, what they do have, are dwindling to a mere 37,000 tons. That was as of 2020. If mining continues at the current pace, the country's reserves could be exhausted by the end of 2026. Since Lanchi had one more thing to say, we may not be running out of silver, but the cheap and easy silver is depleting. To be fair, Mexican production has had nosedives in the past, all right? But it has not been in conjunction with China demand, what we're seeing right now. Chinese demand is so intense that because of the global bifurcation of trade, they are now buying raw ore as well as concentrate directly from silver-producing countries.